Hi, it's Frostfire here. So you've just jumped in the ring to find the best wireless earbuds. Enter Nothing's vastly improved Ear 2s at just $149 USD, which since release have seen new firmware updates, sound improvements, an advanced EQ, and the new black color option. But are they the best wireless buds on the market? To answer this, we'll compare them against the AirPods Pro Gen 2s at $249 USD, over 15 rounds to see who takes the title. Now in terms of comfort,
the Ear 2 and Pro 2 have very similar ergonomics, with the Ear 2 being slightly smaller in size. To get the most comfortable cap and fit, the Ear 2 has 3 sizes while the Pro 2 has 4 with the additional extra small. After testing, I found the pressure and suction levels are minimal on both, allowing me to wear both sets of earbuds for a long time with zero ear fatigue.
So given the similarity in comfort levels,
it's a split round and a point each.
So I tested 3 typical scenarios where the earbuds may start to budge out.
1. Talking on an audio or video call. 2. While going for a run. And 3. When weight training or hitting the bag in the gym.
I didn't find any difference between the Ear 2 and Pro 2.
While talking for long periods on audio or video calls.
Both staying perfectly secure.
But when out for a run or making faces in the gym,
I did find the Pro 2s started to budge out a little bit quicker than the Ear 2s. This could be down to the personal shape of my ear canal, but given the convenience of this more secure fit,
a point for the Ear 2s.
So in order to compare the dust and water resistances of the Ear 2 and Pro 2s,
we'll look at the IP ratings. The Ear 2 buds have a rating of IP55, meaning dust and water jet protection, while the Ear 2 case has an IP54 rating, meaning dust and water splash protection. Both very solid. The old Lightning Pro 2's buds and case only had an IPX4, meaning not tested for dust and only have splash protection. And even though the new USB-C Pro 2's have an IP54 rating for the buds and case, it still falls short. A point for the Ear 2's.
Now before I talk about battery life, it does vary depending on your device settings, environment, usage, and many other factors. But with that in mind,
from a full charge, here are the Ear 2's playback results with ANC on. In contrast, here are the Pro 2's playback results with ANC on. From a full charge of the buds and case, here are the Ear 2's playback results with ANC on. And again, in contrast, here are the Pro 2's playback results with ANC on.
The Pro 2's being the clear winner here.
A point for the Pro 2's.
To cover off charging, I looked at 3 typical scenarios.
The first, charging the case only with a power cord. These were the results after charging both cases to 100%. The second, charging the buds using the case only. These were the results after charging both sets of buds to 100%. And finally, here are the results of charging the buds for 10 minutes in the case with the power cords attached. It's also worth mentioning if you have a Nothing phone, you can power share wirelessly. In response, Apple added power share between the iPhone 15 and the new Pro 2's via a power cord instead. But putting these gimmicks aside,
based on the charging results for all 3 tests,
a point for the Ear 2's.
Okay, so in terms of connectivity, both buds have Bluetooth 5.3, SBC, and the AAC codec. But the Nothing Ear 2's have the added bonus of LHDC.
LHDC is a high-res 24-bit lossless audio with lower latency, but is currently only supported by the mobiles shown here.
It's not a massive difference in quality, but you will get lower latency, and it's great that Nothing is pushing the latest tech into their products.
The new USB-C Pro 2's now support 20-bit 48kHz lossless audio, but it will only work with the Apple Vision Pro headset when released in the US early next year. And even though the Ear 2's in-ear detection is a little slower than the Pro 2's, it can be toggled within the app.
The Ear 2's edging this round.
A point for the Ear 2's.
Now, wireless buds are great when switching devices, like when listening to music on your phone and then changing to a dedicated gaming handheld.
To test gaming latency, I will be using the Nintendo Switch OLED. The Switch OLED uses the standard SBC codec and Bluetooth 4.1 and has a base latency of 220 to 300 ms.
Which I admit isn't the latest tech, but is still a popular choice amongst today's gamers.
With the tests I ran, the Pro 2's were able to get in this range, averaging 275 ms. However, the Ear 2's were noticeably worse, averaging 365, even with low latency toggled on. The new Asus ROG Ally, which supports Bluetooth 5.2 and the AAC codec, may show improved latency results. And I would also expect the upcoming Legion Go and Switch 2 provide a better wireless audio experience when released.
Regardless, the Pro 2s are the winner here.
A point for the Pro 2s. Now let's talk about today's sponsor, tomtoc. So to ensure I can play all my Switch OLED games while on the go or traveling abroad, I need a suitable carry case to keep my gear protected. Something cleverly designed, durable, and aesthetically pleasing. The tomtoc case is thin, lightweight, and made from spill-resistant materials. It's also comfortable to carry around via this adjustable strap. The raised design protects and prevents any pressure being applied to the joysticks and buttons. It features 10 game cartridge slots. It also has a soft interior panel protecting the screen from any scratches. It's passed the military standard drop test and utilizes the highly durable YKK zipper. It also comes with a 12 months warranty, and if this is not your color, they have a huge range of other options. If you want to pick one up, check out the link in the description.
So I ran 2 tests for the microphone and call quality.
The first was outside with some regular traffic noise. And for reference purposes, this is what it sounds like with the iPhone's built-in microphone. Here's how the call quality sounds on the Ear 2's microphone. And finally, here's how the call quality sounds with the Pro 2's microphone. The second test I ran was inside with some generated crowd noise from my TV speakers, achieving similar results.
Overall, voice is picked up on the Ear 2s in a similar fashion to the Pro 2s, but the background noises are muted better, which is especially great if you're using them in a loud office environment.
A point for the Ear 2s.
So I ran 2 ANC tests.
The first one was in the gym, where noise levels can vary from minimal to moderate, and the second one was on a plane where engine noise can get extreme and where ANC can be a lifesaver.
Easily with the Ear 2s and ANC on. Easily with the Pro 2s and ANC.
The Ear 2s were impressive and felt slightly better than the old Pro 1s, but the H2 chip on the Pro 2s makes the ANC twice as good as its predecessor. And with the exception of the Bose Quiet Comfort 2s, they provide the best ANC. Some extras worth mentioning: on the Pro 2s, you can turn the ANC on and off only, whereas on the Ear 2s you have much more customization, being able to adjust from high to low and also adaptive. You'll also notice down the bottom you can toggle on personalized ANC. Running this test will yield an extra few percent of tailored ANC, which when saved can be toggled on or off at any time. Overall though, it's still
a point for the Pro 2s.
So when it comes to transparency mode,
the Ear 2 surrounding sounds are very clear. The only minor exception comes from hearing your own voice.
There is some low-level white noise, but the biggest annoyance is a bug with the built-in wind noise reduction.
Currently, if you're running and it picks up any wind noise, it will automatically switch off transparency mode. To counter, you can leave it in the off position and switch back later when the wind's gone.
Rest assured, there should be a firmware update in the near future to permanently fix this. I'll also point out here that the transparency toggle sounds like a woman breathing in your ear. And nothing, if you're listening, please change it.
Regardless, the Pro 2s have great all-round transparency mode where you can hear everything clearly, including your own voice.
The Pro 2s also have the customization edge here, being able to adjust amplification, balance, darker and lighter tones, ambient noise levels, and conversation boost.
A point for the Pro 2s. So as of iOS 17, one of the cooler updates to the AirPods Pro lineup is the addition of adaptive audio, including adaptive mode, personalized volume, and conversation awareness. Adaptive mode dynamically blends transparency and ANC modes together based on the conditions of the user's environment to deliver the best experience in the moment. Essentially, if you're in a location with a lot of background noise, you will get more ANC, while quiet places will provide more transparency. If it's not to your taste, you can always switch back to ANC or transparency modes manually. Personalized volume uses machine learning to understand environmental conditions and listening preferences over time to automatically fine-tune your listening experience. This may remove the hassle of figuring out optimum volume levels for your hearing ability. Again, if not to your taste, can be toggled off. So the cool thing about conversation awareness is that it will start to lower the audio on a video you're watching or music you're listening to when you start a conversation. And then when you stop conversing, the volume will gradually increase to the level previously set. Great with colleagues in the office or between sets at the gym. So the Ear 2s already had adaptive ANC before the recent release from Apple, and it does work well. It also doesn't blend the transparency mode, only adjusting ANC levels. However, it's not enough to counter Apple's new adaptive features. A point for the Pro 2s.
So in terms of design,
the Ear 2's transparent sticks are one of the best looking on the market, especially in the new black edition,
which Nothing spent a lot of time perfecting.
Easily recognizable with red for right and white for left, they also feel nice to place in the ear and gesture with. The Pro 2 buds are very similar to the Pro 1s. The only difference is in the skin detection sensor, which is now smaller and works better. But with a 2019 design, they just look boring and commonplace. They do, however, feel a little bit more robust.
And it's a similar story with the cases.
With a nice transparent design on the Ear 2s and a cool dimple for endless fidgeting, a magnet to snap shut the case lid, and two more for holding the buds in place. The slots also have the red and white dots for visual cues. However, the case lid does suffer from a little wobble.
It is minor, but it may become an issue over time.
The Pro 2 case looks very similar to 2019's Pro 1 design. The differences are the lanyard loop, the speaker holes, which are used for audio cues when wireless charging or finding them when lost, and USB-C to align with EU mandates on all new devices from 2024 onwards.
Overall, the Ear 2's design is aesthetically pleasing and they come in black. Will Apple ever make black AirPods?
A point for the Ear 2s.
Next, we have controls and gesturing.
The Ear 2s have adopted Force Touch, which they call Pinch instead. Originally introduced in the Pro 1s, and compared to the Pro 2s, it actually works better, as occasionally on the Pro 2s it doesn't register.
All of the Ear 2's controls are focused around the pinch and hold gesture on the sticks,
the details of which can be viewed and customized via Nothing's standalone app. The only thing you can't customize is the single pinch, but given you can add a double pinch and hold, it gives you the ability to utilize the volume up and down controls covering all possible gestures.
However, when comparing this
to the swipe up and down on the Pro 2s, it's not as versatile or intuitive. Having the up and down volume on the same stick enables all gestures on each earbud, one of the few buds with this level of control. iOS 17 also allows mute and unmute of the mic while on a call via a single press.
Based on the Pro 2's versatility with one earbud,
it's a point for the Pro 2s.
Next, and most important, sound quality. And before we start, it's worth mentioning that both earbuds are premium choices in this category.
The first thing you'll notice with the Ear 2s is a fuller bass with a nice blend of sub and mids. However, the vocals don't come through as clear on the Ear 2s.
How am I supposed to know?
In contrast, the Pro 2s do have some good rumble in the sub bass, but the mids are a little lackluster. Similar to the Pro 1s, the treble on the Pro 2s is noticeably more crisp. At lower levels, you would get more precision and more treble on the Pro 2s. But in the mid and high volume levels,
I felt the Ear 2s gave a more comfortable listening experience. Now, before we decide which sounds better overall, let's take a look at the EQ and sound customization. And surprisingly, the Pro 2s don't really have anything. If you go into audio accessibility, you get 3 lackluster options: the default balanced tone over all frequencies, increase the middle vocals, or increase the high trebles.
So after iOS 17, you can boost soft sounds slightly, moderately, or strongly.
But no way to customize properly via an adjustable EQ. Now, prior to the recent release of the black Ear 2 option, the Ear 2s provided 2 forms of sound customization: a basic EQ wheel, which you can play around with and adjust to your tastes, and a Me hearing test to further customize the sound to your personal hearing ability. It's a 10-minute test that will likely result in the Ear 2 earbuds restoring parts of your sound range range that you can't usually hear, shown here in red. Once complete, the intensity levels of the personal profile can be further tweaked, even down to the percentile.
Now, since the recent release of the Black Ear 2s and firmware update on the 6th of August,
Nothing have taken it even further with an advanced equalizer, allowing you to increase or decrease a particular band, the frequency of the band, and the Q factor.
once you've created and fine-tuned a profile, you can also share it with a QR code.
With this level of detail from Nothing, the Ear 2s win on sound quality.
A point for the Ear 2s.
And finally, price.
The Ear 2s come in at $149 USD, while the Pro 2s come in at $249 USD.
Making the Ear 2s 40% cheaper.
But after a couple of years of daily charging, will the Ear 2 batteries suffer more degradation than the Pro 2s?
Apple's improved their battery longevity in the AirPods over many years and iterations. But with the Ear 2s, we've only seen one previous iteration, which as we all know didn't go so well.
So the Pro 2s cost over time may partially offset the cheaper Ear 2's price if they last longer.
Something to think about. But on upfront cost alone,
It's a point for the Ear 2s.
so in terms of the particular tests that I ran, the Nothing Ear 2 won the most rounds. But that's not to take anything away from the Pro 2s, which did win in a lot of key areas like battery life, controls, ANC, and transparency mode. If you're in the Apple ecosystem, then you may also love the dedicated features, especially seamless device switching. However, if you're not in that ecosystem, then I think the Ear 2s give you better flexibility without brand lock-in. At this point, I'll be returning the Pro 2s to give the Nothing Ear 2s some extended playtime, mainly due to the better fit, design, price, and sound quality.
Thanks for watching. Appreciate any feedback in the comments. Until next time.